Hi sir, good morning and
Good morning.
welcome to the talk, and thanks for making time. And we have with us Colonel Dr. Anand Shankar, who is the MD at Jaidev Memorial Rashtrotana Hospital and and the head of department of Anesthesiology at Rashtrotana Hospital. Welcome again, sir.
Thank you for calling me.
Sir, this firstly I would like to start. This is not so commonly encountered combination, a colonel and a doctor. So can you tell us about your journey? How did the doctor, of course I know it was through an MBBS degree, how was your journey in the army? How did you get into the armed forces?
I joined a college called the Armed Forces Medical College, which is at Pune. So I graduated from there, and when you graduate from that college, you necessarily have to serve in the army. So that's one of the ways to get into the army as a doctor. Otherwise, even you can get in after MBBS. There are selections to get into the army as a doctor. So I started my career as a junior, like as a lieutenant, then as a captain, then a major, then I became a lieutenant colonel, and finally I was a colonel when I decided to take voluntary retirement. And that's how like I joined the army, and I was a colonel also, but I was a doctor in the army.
Nice, sir. Can you tell more in detail, as in it was in which year all this your journey through the different cadres of the army? In which year you went through FMS, FMC, and then your cadre?
So
how did you progress?
Like I joined AFMC in the year 1989.
That was for MBBS.
For MBBS.
Okay.
And 4.5 years I was doing MBBS. Then I came to Bangalore. In Command Hospital, I did my internship for 1 year. That was in 1994. Like 94 to 95 was in Command Hospital. At that time, already I was a commissioned army officer. I was a lieutenant at that time. And thereafter, after 95, I became a captain. So then I went to the field. I was in the China border, basically in Uttarakhand area.
Oh, nice.
Okay. And during that tenure itself, like it was a 3.5 year tenure. During that tenure itself, I got an opportunity to serve in Kashmir, like in Uri.
Okay.
You heard of Uri?
Yes,
that
yes.
movie and all has happened. So like I was right at Uri, and then we were pretty close to Pakistan at that point in time.
Okay, you mean you were at Uri posting, and was that anywhere when that Uri incident happened? Was
No,
it
no,
there
no.
on the
That
same?
was like I was there much before.
Much before, all
Much
right.
before that. At those times, there were incidents of IED blasts and things like that happening. There was anti-army activity happening.
Okay.
But it was not that the movie was not based on that. The movie was like on some incident that happened much later. So I was in Uri. Then after that, I came back to Pune. I did my specialization in anesthesiology.
This was also from AFM, Armed Forces Medical College?
That was
Pune.
also from Armed Forces Medical College. So that was like in the year 98 to 2001. I was in Pune. Thereafter, I worked as anesthesiologist in various army hospitals, and I was in few bigger places.
Okay.
And also got an opportunity to serve in the United Nations, in the United Nations peacekeeping force. So like our army contingent had gone from India. Every year they send a contingent, like they send a few troops, and then we go for their medical, looking after their medical needs. So a small part of our hospital goes with them.
Nice.
So I was in South Sudan.
Okay. And of the many medical colleges in India, how did you enter into the armed forces? Was it planned or was it unplanned? Why did you choose the army? There's just one armed forces medical college in the entire India.
Yes.
There are so many non-army medical colleges. What made you choose? Why this path?
It is, I would say, kind of destiny.
Okay.
Because I was in a school called Kendriya Vidyalaya Hepal, and this central school was very near the Air Force campus, and a lot of Air Force officers and Air Force other ranks, the children of such people who were serving in the Air Force, a lot of them were in the school, like they were my classmates and all that. And because this college is affiliated to the services, the armed forces, not only Army, it is affiliated to the Air Force and Navy. It's a tri-services organization, the Army Medical Corps. So AFMC also is like people who are in the Air Force, Army, and all, they are more aware of it. So it just happened that in my college, in my school, a couple of my seniors, I had seen them joining AFMC for their graduation. So I also said and I had heard about it, and at that point in time, there was this quiz time, which was happening. That was a quiz on national TV, and AFMC had won that. So it was in my mind that it's a good college. At those times, there was not too many choices like there are today. So it was one of the good colleges, and I wrote the exam, and I was lucky to qualify. So I just joined.
Yes. So one thing what I know, Indian Army, apart from you travel and see a lot of India, different regions of India. So can you tell briefly about what are all those interesting or maybe remote places, interesting places where you have posted, where you have served?
Yeah, I served in my entire career of like around 27 years. I must have served around 5 to 6 years in the like in kind of border areas. For example, I told you I was in Uttarakhand. So in Uttarakhand, I was posted at a place near Joshimath and near Badrinath. So beyond Badrinath, if you go, there are a lot of passes. There's the Mana pass and all. Then after that, you have Tibet. So we used to have patrols. There's a place called Harsil. Beyond Harsil, there used to be few passes, and then Tibet again was there. So we used to be following and giving medical cover to the patrols that are going from these places to the passes. We would go with the patrols, high altitude patrols, like around 15,000 feet or 15 to 18,000 feet was the general average height. So we would go as doctors also, not only me, like the other doctors also who were posted there, they also got their own rotations and chances to do this. So I did a bit of that, and so I saw a lot of the Chinese border. Then later on, I got an opportunity. I was in the Kashmir border also for some time, as I told you, Uri, and that Uri is like Uri is maybe 10 kilometers away from Pakistan border. So we were there, right at the border, and there was a bridge which would lead us into Pakistan. So the Pakistani soldiers could actually see us from their higher posts. So that was one border experience. And the other border experience I had was in a place called Limakong, which is again it's in Manipur. So I went to Manipur, and there was a lot of disturbance at that point in time. So the hospital that I went was a very small hospital, and the 15 or 20 days that I was there, I was involved in resuscitating around 15-20 soldiers who had come with gunshot wounds. And we had a good hospital, but we didn't have a blood bank or anything. So the army jawans from the units around, they would come and donate blood, and that's a really different kind of experience, where someone is donating blood on one bed, and surgery is going on, and that blood is being cross-matched and all, and we are transfusing it into the patient right there. It was a very gratifying experience because we saved a lot of lives at that part.
Maybe warfare medicine is one part where you will have exposure where none of the other doctors in India will have no idea about this. We'll need state-of-the-art lab, state-of-the-art facilities to execute our work, but maybe army would have taught you how to execute work with minimum facilities. Am I right? Am I saying it right?
Yes, having said that, you're right about that. Like, we have been trained to work with minimal resources, but Indian Army has done a tremendous job in equipping even the border areas, the border hospitals now. Over the last 25 years, I've seen a consistent change in the way things were, like how we were 25 years ago and how it is today. Today, state-of-art equipment is available right at the border, and a soldier's life is so important that they will do anything to shift or move the soldier to safety to give him the best medical facilities. It's very good. Really, life, the value of a soldier's life is a lot, much more than what it used to be. Maybe it was there, but we did not have the ability to, do so much. But we have scaled up in all kinds of ways. Yes, we did operate in circumstances, conditions were difficult. Like, even though you may have the topmost ventilator, you may have the best equipment, you still may have to do the surgery in a tent.
Okay.
So, like, and you cannot do much about the terrain. If it's a high altitude, then you are actually at a high altitude. So, whatever the effects of high altitude on the human body, you have to counter that. You have to
Got it.
do.
It's
you
a
have
totally
to,
different physiology.
it's a totally different physiology. So, not only it is physiology, it is also our equipment and our preparedness.
Right, sir.
So, consistently over the last 25 years, I've seen a
Maybe
betterment.
what we take for granted, even the normal saline which we give in the hospital, it is in liquid form here. At high altitude, I think that might be frozen. You will have to
Yes.
keep it in warmers constantly.
See, I have not physically served in Siachen. I was in the base camp, but there were people in the post. So the temperatures there are minus 30, minus 40 degrees. To just boil water, like boiled water is for us 100 degrees, but if you heat water, if you put water in a can, it's actually ice. So you're actually trying to melt that ice and make water out of it. It takes 1 hour to just melt a whole, a donga or a big vessel of ice to make little bit of water. So you can imagine there's no question of being able to, kind of give IV fluids at that height. It is
Okay,
absolutely very, very
maybe
difficult.
anything shift the patient
You
down.
have to shift the patient down, and that is a humongous task.
I can understand.
I was on a patrol once, on a high altitude patrol. So we went with maybe 20 people, and there was a Jawan. He was from one of the Sikh regiments. They have a lot of patriotism, and they have that they have to go and show up. For them, it is like
An opportunity.
Honor.
All right.
Okay, if they don't do a particular tough kind of job, it is like they have fallen in the eyes of their own people.
Okay.
So this patrol was a tough patrol, and we had to go across, do a lot of mountain climbing and all. So this young guy, he was not well, and he still decided that though he was not well, he will do this, and he didn't report sick.
All right.
So when we had reached a particular height of around 14 or 15,000 feet, he just became unconscious, and that was a 6-hour walk from the base camp. So we had to kind of, the soldiers had to lift him on a stretcher, and the whole party had to walk back down to the base camp. As we reached the base camp, he started becoming better. Like, he developed that high altitude cerebral edema.
Got it.
So when we came down, he became much better. He was shifted to the hospital safely. But as a matter of honor, like, these soldiers, they'll do anything, even disregarding their own health.
Nice.
So it's to do any kind of medical effort or any kind of treatment at such a place it's such a remote place. You are the only expert. You are the only person who knows anything. It's a real challenge. But with God's grace, our doctors do really well, and we have got good support from the army to evacuate patients as fast as possible, even if it's a remote or a high altitude area. It's good.
And if I am right, I think the Indian Air Force, even for drugs, will be transported to remotest areas.
Yes.
With the Indian Air Force.
As I said, like
helicopters.
Yeah, helicopters are there. They come and drop it to right at the right at the border. If there is a helipad, it will be dropped there. There's no dearth of facilities, equipment, medicine, or manpower. Okay, we just have to fight the enemy and the terrain. That's the only thing.
Fine, got it.
And the weather. So these are the things which make such a job challenging. It's more challenging for the soldiers. We live in reasonable comfort because
Okay.
as doctors we are well looked after. People give us so much respect, and they really pamper us and look after us very well, because they feel that we are the only link between their safety and them going back if there's a problem. So
Nice.
they have a lot of value for doctors.
Nice, sir.
They looked after well, and it was a great experience, amazing experience. And it was a very once in a lifetime opportunity to be able to serve the Jawans and the
Serve the
real
nation per se,
yeah,
and not
real
serve just us.
Yes, you are serving the people who are serving the nation.
Right.
So I was also part of it, but still, like, the feeling of being able to medically help a sick person at such a place is a totally different experience.
Sir, as a person who has very minimal knowledge of how doctors at the armed forces work, do you undergo arms training? Like,
Yes.
can you?
Yes, it is there. Like we have to undergo these capsule courses and all, in which basic training is given about how weapons are. Because once you are a soldier, you are a soldier. So your job is very, like, it is multifold. And if there is a situation where you are alone and you have to defend yourself, or you have to defend the country, then you have to do it yourself. Like, it is it doesn't see whether you are a doctor or you are someone else. You just have to be there for that occasion. So both ways, it works both ways. Like, we have not had to shoot or fire at anyone, but
do you have your own? Would they just as a soldier is allotted his own what arm or what gun? Or doctors are allotted. You have your own until you're posted.
When you're posted in field areas and field units, so there is a coach with a lot of weapons, and weapons are individually by name allotted to individuals. So officers are given pistols or some other kind of weapons. So as a standard procedure, everyone has an allotted weapon.
Nice.
Okay, but you're not necessarily carrying it around with you all the time. It's always under safe custody. It's only during like exercise or an emergency or something like that, then these weapons are issued, because in the normal routine this thing, you may not require to use any weapons, and you're generally not in such an area where you will need it for your personal protection. But having said that, I was in one place called in Kashmir, in one of the hospitals, and you'll be like surprised to know that at that point in time in that hospital, I was in Delhi, so the anesthesiologist of that hospital went on leave, and they told me that, like, you go for a short time and replace this guy. Like, all these things happen by rotation. So it was my rotation, and I had to come and give leave cover to that person who left. So he left, and I landed up at that place, and I was like, it was in an area, the hospital was well compounded, like a 10 feet or 12 feet wall all around, and outside is absolutely hostile area. Okay, the moment you get out of the hospital compound, then, like, you're at the mercy of anything that can happen there.
Okay,
the only safety is within those walls. And when I entered, I, like, happened to be one of the senior most officers who entered that area, and I noticed that all the other officers were ladies. Okay, they were all doctors. They were doctors and nurses, and they were all ladies. There was no other senior male officer at that place, and each of them were trained with their weapons, and they were, like, so smart and up to the task. Never did they ever say, like, we are ladies, where have you posted us? We were posted in such a place. It was a place where I was myself feeling, my God, it's so remote and so scary and dangerous. But these ladies, they were posted there for maybe 1.5 to 2 years. They were already in that place, permanently posted there. Very inspiring to see that such things also are happen in the armed forces, and it happens like a routine. Nobody gets to know about it.
And maybe that's why I've heard people say army gives you a rebirth. evolve into a totally different person.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, right now, how many years has it been, sir, since you took your voluntary retirement from the army and you're not serving the army?
So it's been 3 years and a few months.
All right.
2020 December was when I quit army. Now it's Jan 24, so almost 3 years and a month or so. And since then, I've been in this place and in Bangalore, and I'm experiencing the other side of medical profession. It's a different feeling.
And how do you see this, sir? Are the leadership qualities, the problem solving capabilities army would have taught you, how is it making your life or decisions better? And I want to know what has been all its role in your present, what has army given you to make your life outside the army more comfortable, more you feel you're more capable than you would have been without the exposure to the army?
So armed forces, like the experience itself is very, very all encompassing. You come into situations where you are like absolutely cornered, and you have to wriggle out of that place, get out safely. And we have been through such situations, and there are so many life and death situations that happen in the army. Okay, so when I was evacuating a patient from one of the field areas to a big hospital, the convoy in which I was traveling got fired upon. So
Okay.
we were
Scary.
literally under fire. Okay, and they had blocked the road. They had cut trees, and then we had to remove the trees to move ahead. It was a very scary experience. But having been through that, you know the value of life. And we, in our daily practice as human beings, in any organization or any institute, there are so many things that affect it. There's a lot of interpersonal, politics and things like that that happen everywhere, which feel very, very mundane. So you have to I think army has given me the ability to just brush aside these non-issues, not get too affected by really
Got
the
it,
small
got it.
things. Help others also see it in a different way. The bigger picture is totally different.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
like it's not about whether you had breakfast today morning, whether you did some small thing.
I totally
Like there are
understand.
so many bigger issues that have so much more weightage and value, which need your attention. So you should not sweat out on these real small things. See the issue like from a bird's eye point of view, and don't overreact, don't jump and take hasty decisions, don't knee jerk, because you need a cool head, and you need to understand the situation, and moreover you need to be a person who can calmly influence others to follow and do the right thing. So I feel that these are things which maybe even as a person, it I have some ability and whatever, but these things get reinforced when you work in a situation in the services. It's a different experience. You get such exposure.
Got it, sir. Right now you are in Rashtrotana Hospital. Can you tell can you tell me us a little bit about Rashtrotana Hospital? Is it like another corporate hospital, or what I know it is run by Rashtrotana Parishad, which is already has its pan India influence, and they are known for their nation building work.
Yes,
So
yes.
a little more about this, sir. How did your journey with this Rashtrotana Parishad, how did you choose this? Why did you choose Rashtrotana? Because with the person with your skills, with your experience, you would have had multiple other opportunities.
Yes.
Why Rashtrotana?
I was in this locality, and then I got I got an opportunity. Someone said that there's an opening here. Would you like to explore it? I said okay, I don't mind doing it. I just found out what is this about. Then I got to know that it's an organization called Rashtrotana Parishad, which has been doing social service for the last 65 years. And they have numerous ways of doing social service, like they have blood banks, they have thalassemia center, they have schools, they're doing social service, okay, so serving the poor. So a number of social society for the upliftment of society. Rashtrotana is doing a lot of good work. So I got to know that there is some organization like this, and that they were also keen to take me, possibly because of my background of being in the army and all that. It kind of resonated. I was a person who served the nation, so they felt that like I'll be a right fit for the organization. So I got this opportunity, and I felt that it's good to join. They came out with this new hospital. So we started on 5th of December, and we started with actually 4 walls, and with the team in the hospital we slowly got all the kind of things and equipments. We are still in the process of making it better and better, but it has reached a very good level right now, and it's so trusted. People come from North Karnataka, from wherever interiors of Karnataka, they come here only because of the name, because of Rashtrotana name. So it is our challenge to live up to the expectations of the people who believe that Rashtrotana is going to do good for them. And so far we have been able to do a good job for the patients, and we are trying to give a care which is like at the level of a corporate hospital, but with the you know with including the feelings of service, and being righteous and correct, ethically correct, morally correct, and not overcharging. Charging it's not a free hospital, because everything has a cost.
Yeah.
But at the same time, at what cost, the kind of value that we give is going to be absolutely unmatched.
Sir, all this while you were telling about your professional life, as a person there's always also a personal life. Serving in the army might sound very adventurous, but am I right in saying little bit comforts are compromised? Am I right in saying this?
In the army, comforts are compromised. It's not that comforts are compromised. It's a different way of life. And like, if I tell you that if you're born in America and you have a certain set of comforts, you may not feel them because you're there and you take it for granted.
Got it.
So if you're in India, the kind of you live in a kind of in a way that you feel that is natural and normal. So the same way, once you get used to the way you live in the army, then you take it for granted. It is just normal and natural. Okay, this is the way. Like, we used to move out at short notice, but then that became part of life.
Okay.
We used to travel, we used to move out, we used to have postings, tenures of 2.5 years, entire family shifts. So these were tough things, but it came. It was taken in the flow, and it didn't feel that it was such a big compromise or sacrifice or anything. Like, it is part of the game.
Did you have your family with you, sir, in all your postings? Were they with you, as in, or they were at a different location? Because in children education might be a challenge.
Yes, it is a challenge.
So how did you manage this?
It's a challenge, but most of my tenures, like, my family was with me, irrespective of where the place was, except in hard field, like when you're actually going into border areas or battle, then they stay in the cities. But they were with me wherever I went, usually, most of the time. And schooling is a problem, but Army has catered to good schools. Every place has got an Army school or an Air Force school, everything is there. But it's not like you're there in one school from class 1 to class 12. So children also have to, learn to adjust. They make new friends at each place. They have to re-establish themselves in their class. The teachers are new, so a lot of adjustments have to happen. They have to learn to adjust and become better. So it is a learning experience for the family as well.
All right, sir. And can you tell us briefly about this, your stint with the United Nations? You said you had been to South Sudan.
United Nations, our team went there for, like, we had a small hospital. So this hospital also keeps getting rotated every 2 years or so. So the previous team was also an Indian hospital. So that whole team came out, and like, we went there. We were in a place called Malakal.
Okay.
This was actually at the time in 2010. This was when Sudan was the whole country. It got split into South Sudan and Sudan.
Okay.
So I actually have been there when the partition of the country took place.
Okay.
So it was a difficult time. Like we were in a place called Malakal. It's just a kind of a marshy area, and no city around or anything like that. Far away from civilized world. Mostly tribals all around the place, and we were in a area of, like, I would say 5 or 6 square kilometers with a barbed wire fence, in which all troops were there. Our hospital also was there, and there was a small airport which had a mud runway. So some small aircraft, we all landed up in small aircrafts from the bigger places. And once we landed there, of course we had all the equipment and all, but because of this partition, the food supply chain got completely cut off for a period of 2 months or 2.5 months. But fortunately there was all stocked frozen food and all. But there was a time when it had reached that if we don't conserve whatever we have now, we are going to finish off our stocks in like 15 days or so.
Got it.
So we had reached a state like that, and there was always a threat from outside, from these tribals, very deadly and dangerous tribals. They would come. Luckily we didn't have, when I was in that rotation, there was no issue. And we used to walk to the river Nile, which was just a kilometer away. People there had cautioned us. They said, like, don't go out, it's very unsafe and all. But it felt very safe. Somehow we went out and came back. We did that the entire tenure of 1.5 years. But later, the whole UN whole place, that whole thing got bombed and shelled, and a lot of issues happened there. So I was like lucky to kind of go there, come back safely without any issue. When I went there, it didn't feel it was so dangerous. Yes, it felt very marooned. Yeah, like you're cut off from the world. No phone, no nothing. It's like you're in one part of Africa. Reaching there is just not possible. You can't reach there by road. You have to go by air. So all those kind of very adventurous.
Sir, amongst our viewers, there might be certain young teenagers or young doctors. Any message to them if they are considering army as an option? Any words to them? Any message to them?
It's something that, if I get a chance again, I would like to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very good. If you have to be a doctor in India, I feel that armed forces gives you the best opportunities to, to have a very well-rounded life. You have adventure. You're doing service to the nation, serving people who are serving the nation. That you can't get just like that. Okay, it's a selfless thing that you're doing. Such opportunities are not so easily, got. So some kind of service in the army is always a good thing, I feel, even if it's a short one, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. If someone gets an opportunity, they should not think, no, what will happen later, it will affect. No, I am quite happily placed even after doing a good amount of work in the army. I think it depends on how well you want to take it forward. So the army really doesn't hamper your lifestyle or hamper you or make you not fit for the civil world. I feel it empowers you only.
Okay.
It gives you a good opportunity. If someone is on the crossroads as to whether I should do it or not, definitely should give it a try. At least a short try is really worth it. But it also depends on the ambitions and aspirations of each person. Should not take it up just because you don't have any other option.
Okay, got it.
If you like to do it, you should do it.
Thanks. Thank you so much for your time, sir. It was great talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Looking forward for more meetings.
Sure.
And more dwelling into your life, understanding your journey.
Thanks Dr. Jaidev. Very, very sweet of you to call me for this, and I really enjoyed going through the journey again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.